Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Holiday!
Oh, yes, the holidays!
Hey, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
And we just watched
White Christmas.
Christmas.
Wheat Christmas.
Not that one, the other one.
White.
The one with Bing Crosby, folks.
White.
You love Bing Crosby.
Yeah, you guys love Bing.
His name is Bing.
I mean...
The two greatest figures in show business, Bing and Danny, as two ex-GIs who form the perfect partnership. Rosemary and Vera Ellen as the sisters who have them in a spin. With Dean Jagger as the unemployed general they take under their wing.
Apparently, there's still quite a bit about show business I don't understand.
Oh, it'll come to you, sir. Just takes time. We wouldn't be any good as generals.
You weren't any good as privates.
A wonderful story that will warm your hearts, just as the breathtaking scope of a new screen wonder will widen your eyes. White Christmas in VistaVision. And you'll fall asleep, counting your blessings.
Stupid name.
Yeah.
Hey, all right. Real quick.
Is it a stupid name or does it rule?
It kind of rules.
It kind of rules, right?
I think Bing ruined Bing Crosby's name. Like Bing the service, the search engine.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Although it would be awesome if like Andrew Garfield in The Amazing Spider-Man was sitting down to Google stuff. Like, I'm gonna look this up on Bing, and it was just a big old face of Bing Crosby's face,
That
and
would
he's
be
like
great.
asking Bing Crosby questions, and Bing Crosby's like, "Well, Peter, you got to do this." Boo, 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 boo. That would immediately elevate The Amazing Spider-Man into one of the greatest films ever made.
It's true, it would. Big thank you to Harris and Millie. Harris and Millie. They tasked us with watching what is this, 1950-something?
1954, I think. Yeah.
1954's White Christmas. Not sure why they wanted this, but, well, I understand, like, they're probably like, yeah, watch this,
like
you
Christmas?
fuckers.
I don't know.
Yeah. I assume they like this movie, and I didn't hate this movie. Tom, how'd you like this movie?
It's fine. I mean, it's a movie that I'd seen a lot growing up. It was a
really?
perennial favorite of my folks. I think my mom, maybe. I don't know. One of my parents enjoys this movie. So I saw it a few times as a kid. I hadn't seen it in a long time before revisiting it now. And I still like regard it the same way I did when I was like 6, where it's like, it's fine. It's kind of too long. It's like,
I was about to say,
it's kind of boring.
It's 2 fucking hours.
It's 2 hours. And like the first 30 minutes are about these dudes at war.
Yeah.
I think just every movie, not every movie, but a lot of movies in this time period begin with like a not like a non sequitur, but they always begin with like an introduction that's in World War II to like set the stage for the rest of the movie that has nothing to do with World War II.
All right. Look, I have some tips for this director. This nobody who, he did Casablanca, but whatever. Just cut out the songs. It would make it shorter.
Yeah, cut out the songs and the dancing.
Just cut out, that'll make it shorter, and then you're done. Yeah, the Warzone beginning. By the way, most of this film was shot indoors, and it shows.
Oh yeah, no, it's all on sets.
Yeah, and like that's just the way things were.
It's just movies. It's just movies.
It's not a hit against it.
I don't think there's a real tree in this movie.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because the beginning is they're in a war zone, and they're doing a little Halloween Christmas show.
They're at a very polite war.
Yes. Oh yeah, this part of this movie is about how war is fine.
Yeah, it's just kind of fine.
Like at the end, they're just like, I wish we were in the army again. And it's like, did anybody die? Any of your friends die? You seem You seem to have really enjoyed war.
That's like a real thing, but like this movie doesn't treat it like that. Like the institutionalization of people's like, well, I wish I was just back in, in the military. Because that way, like, life made sense and I didn't have to worry about thing. I just went where I was told and everything was taken care of for me. Right. But like this movie treats it like two guys dancing with a woman on stage being like, I wish I was back in the army.
Yeah. That's the thing is it's like that's like a dark premise that's in like the Punisher series.
Yes, yeah.
Like it's not like, wow, we love the war. It's the institutionalized.
I sure do miss being a GI. Like, yeah.
Like it seems like because like that instinct has to do with like I'm just so conditioned and I don't know how to function in the real world. This is they're just like, we slept in hammocks all day and had a blast.
We sure had some kicks in the army. Like they treat it like summer camp. But yeah. Like
I also love the women's part where they're like, we also wish there was an army because it's a meat market for us ladies.
Hell yes. Mm-hmm.
Like they're just like, we get all the dicks.
Yeah. All these dicks come through. These big old beefcakes. The other part that I thought was very funny was they're throwing this like USO pageant or whatever. They're just the soldiers put on an impromptu Christmas concert for themselves. And they get bombed in the middle of it by the Germans. But they drop one bomb and leave. It was like the most polite attack in the history of war.
I think it's the opposite. I think the Germans were flying over and they're like, are they doing a Christmas thing? We got to bomb that.
Yeah, let it go. Let it go. How many? Yeah. We got one bomb left. All right, let it go.
Yeah. So, they're doing like this Christmas pageant and they have this tarp up with a fake city. And it's just very funny because it's also an indoor set. So it's like a tarp in front of a larger tarp. But the larger tarp behind them, that's supposed to be real. Mm-hmm. And I just think that's funny.
Yeah, it's just like the nexus of the universe.
Yeah. So they're doing all right. So the war stuff does make sense ultimately.
Sure.
And I was at first like, why are we doing this? And then when the general shows up, I was like, what? Why is the general here? This is so weird and zany. But it actually is my favorite part of this movie is the general stuff.
Right.
Which is weird.
Like he's the premise. Okay. For people
the
who
premise
haven't,
is all over the fucking place.
Well, for people who haven't seen it, it's essentially two guys, I don't remember their names. It's Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. All right.
Yes.
They're war buddies.
Phil and Bob.
Sure. I like.
It could be anything.
It could be anything. Those are the blandest names. All right.
It's very white. It's all very white.
It's extremely, but like their real life names were cooler. Like Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. Like that's cool. Phil and Bob, less cool. So they're war buddies. They come back from the war. They decide.
Important note: one of them saves the other's life.
Right? Yeah. Danny Kaye saves Bing Crosby's life.
Yeah, and he just uses that to weasel into his career. Basically,
it's like Bing Crosby before the war was apparently just Bing Crosby. He's just a very famous solo act as a singer. So after the war, they form a duo, a song and dance duo, and they're very popular. And they meet these sisters who are also a song and dance duo who are kind of up and comers, and they're like the sisters of a guy they served with.
Yes.
So they meet up. The sisters are on the run for I forget why.
They're on. Okay. No.
Okay.
They
Please take over.
No, this is where things get weird.
Yeah.
So they meet them and they're like, they're probably gonna fuck these sisters. They're in Florida. They're in
Fucktopia.
They're in Fucktopia.
Listen, fucking happens in Florida. Anyway.
Yeah. I would argue also, and they're again indoors, even when they're outdoors in Florida. I think they're using the same background for the war scenes.
It's just the script is like fade in, interior, Florida.
Yeah. And so the two of them go song and dance on the beach, which feels like they're fucking. I always like to think that whenever there's a scene like that, it means that they fucked.
Well,
on the
beach. Sure,
but it's like real cash. They're not an item.
Every musical does this. They have a musical number to let us know that they are now a couple. They're romantically interested in each other.
Right. So the idea is that they want the other half of them to hook up.
Right, that's right. It's like a Taming of the Shrew situation where it's like the younger sister can't break up the act because the older sister behaves like her mom. So it's like, well, we got to get her hooked up so that we can be together.
Right. It's Bing and it's Rosemary Clooney, right?
Yeah,
are the two?
Sure is.
Yeah. So they set up this whole thing where they're like, you know, they really hit it off because the motivations that I think it's Bing Crosby. No, the other one is like, you need to get married because I'm sick of you. Because you're so, like, he's so into the business. And the other guy's like, we need to get you a lady with kids so that I can get a break. It's a good line where he's like, if you have 9 kids, you spend 5 minutes with each of them. That gives me 45 minutes to myself. And so that's his motivation. And he's basically like, I want my friend to fuck your sister so that this can happen so you can leave me alone. And then we learned that the sisters the landlord's accusing them of burning a hole in the rug. And the sheriff's there for him, and I was like, that seems steep.
Yeah.
Like, but so the sheriff is there to, like, I don't know, shoot them for
just execute them
property.
in public for burning a rug. It was the 50s. It was a different time.
It was a different time. Also, overall blanket statement, entertainment sucked for them.
I was thinking that the entire movie is like, man, the entertainment industry was way different back then, when it's just like 2 assholes can go around the country and just go like, boo, 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 and they'll be billionaires.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody's like, please, I need something to watch.
It's the only show in town. There's like 6 movies, and then these guys.
Yeah, it just sucks so much. The part where at the end, the general's watching his TV show. The TV show is just a guy in front of a curtain with a potted plant. And like potted flowers, and it was like, God, this sucks. Oh fuck, entertainment was the worst. So they take a train up. They help them escape the cops. It's zany. It's very zany. They take a train up to where they're going to New York, and the sisters are going to Vermont. Also, the sisters have a song about being sisters that we hear like 4 fucking times in this movie.
Yeah.
I was very sick of that song. So they do this.
Count your blessings when you go to sleep. We heard that one a bunch too.
Again, entertainment sucked. And so like, oh yeah, that's what happens. They do a distraction where the 2 guys dress up as the sisters and perform their song. So the cops hear it in the other room, and so the sisters get away in a cab, and then they fall behind, and he also gave the sisters their tickets on the train. And he has this plan of like, we should go to Vermont so Bing Crosby can fuck this lady and have a family. And so through zaniness, basically, they're on the train. They run into the sisters again. He realizes they keep trying to like trick Bing Crosby, right? They keep lying and tricking and doing these like zany plots to make him get it on with this lady.
Yeah, it's a movie called White Christmas, but most of the middle section
has nothing to do with Christmas.
It has nothing to do with Christmas. It has to do with this. Danny Kaye wants to marry Vera Ellen, and they're in World War II. Like, that's what this movie is about.
Yeah.
And saving their general from a terrible investment he made.
Danny Kaye doesn't want to marry Vera Ellen, right? They're the ones that are. They're the ones who are like. They pretend to get engaged.
They pretend to get engaged, but they do like each other. They are a couple.
Yes, they do like each other.
It's like, and their pretend engagement is to like push Bing Crosby to marry Rosemary, or at the very least, like be in a relationship with Rosemary Clooney. But they're doing
Pump
it like
a baby in her. At least.
Sure, yeah, exactly. Then bing the fuck off.
Right,
but like they do the fake engagement scene by like being like, oh yeah, we can call it off in 3 weeks because I'm just kidding, unless you want. You know, they're both doing like the I'm just kidding unless you're into it.
Yeah, they're both pairing off.
Yeah.
They do the thing where they're watching the sisters do their act at the beginning, and one of them says like, look at those brown eyes, and he's like, what do you mean, those blue eyes? And you realize, okay, so they're looking at 2 different women, and they're both enamored. So it's like, oh, that works. They sing about snow, and they're like, we're going to go to Vermont. And they're like, how much they love snow. And I was like, yeah, fuck you. Fuck snow. But anyway, they go to Vermont, and there's no snow.
There's no snow.
And they're like, where's all the snow? And it's because the climate's heating up, but they don't know that.
Yeah,
and,
they don't know the planet's a boiling cauldron yet. None of them will live to see it.
Yeah, it's true.
That's another thought that I had. Like during one of their big musical numbers, they have a bunch of kids come out. I think it's the last number, but they have a bunch of kids come out to dance and sing. I was like watching this movie, just thinking to myself, all those kids are dead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody's dead in this movie. Everybody's dead.
Oh, everybody's super fucking dead. It's just a parade of corpses.
Yep.
Singing about White Christmas.
They show up at this hotel, this inn, this like Darling, Vermont inn. A lot of New England. They also mentioned Smith College, which excited me. So they there's no snow, and it just so happens the inn is owned by their sergeant.
No, they're
right?
general. They're general.
Who in the beginning they all like really love. They sing him a song.
Mm-hmm.
And they're because he has to leave.
Yeah.
He gets reassigned. So like they love him. They fucking love this guy. He was apparently
basically.
really great.
Like in the first scene we see, because that's a theme in the movie, is they're essentially taking him out of active duty because he's too old. And like there's a subplot in there where he tries to he writes like a letter to see if he can get back in because he doesn't know what to do with himself. He's made this terrible investment buying this inn that's fucking going under. He's like, I just want to go back to the army, and the army's like, you're too old, man. What are we gonna do with you?
Right. They're like horrified. There's this weird, and listen, I understand. There's this weird anti-landlord thing throughout where they're like, you're a landlord? Like, because he's technically that, I guess. At first, they're like, you're a janitor? And he's like, no, I run this place. And they're like, you're a landlord. And then earlier, that landlord sucked as well.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not, like, it's just a weird sensibility. Like, it's, like, neat. Like, wow, they're like, fuck landlords.
I don't know what the social feeling toward landlords were at this time.
When was the Depression? Was this post?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like...
It's 1954, Dave.
Okay, so but we're coming off of the Depression.
Yeah, it was a couple of decades ago, but we're coming out of World War II, which kind of took the country out of the Depression.
That was my assumption. My assumption was that landlords during that era, there was a lot of people getting kicked out of their homes, and it's just like there was probably people didn't like it.
It feels like historically it's never been like an envied.
No. But like he owns an inn. Like it seemed
he owns an inn that's losing money, like it's bleeding from its side. Like
right, but like initially when they're like, "Ew, you own this inn," like they seem like
right. It's like
it's a perfectly good business.
It's like a really incredible, like homey looking cottage, like inn. I mean, it's big. It's not, but it's the kind of thing.
But then they learn, that it's that it's hemorrhaging money.
Yeah, but it looks like the kind of place that like people from like rich families from New England would spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend Christmas there. Like it looks like a successful business.
But gosh darn it, there isn't any snow this year. And again, it's like I don't think that stops people, but whatever.
Yeah. That's not going to stop the people that's not going to stop the rich people coming down from New York City,
right?
Who just want to get away in a nice cottage style inn for the for the winter.
It looks like the kind of place that that Dirty Dancing would take place.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And again, all very white. It's all very white.
It's extremely white. I don't think there's any non-white person in this film.
Yeah, and it's called White Christmas, and it just like that kept popping out at me. I know it's again not the point of the movie or the song, but it's boy is it white.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big Hollywood musical from the 50s. Like it's going to be the whitest thing ever.
It's the whitest fucking
it's
thing.
So goddamn white. It's like blinding.
Yes.
I had to close my shades.
So he's what a wacky coincidence. How zany. He's running this inn. That's hemorrhaging money. He's still driving his army Jeep around
because he still wants to be a general.
Did they give him that Jeep? Were they like, you can keep the Jeep?
I hope he stole it.
That would be amazing. I'd join the army if they're like, yeah, you get the helicopter when you're done. But I don't think that's how it is.
I think they get more people to sign up.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd have come up to me in my high school cafeteria and told me I got a helicopter at the end of it, I'd be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So they create this scheme where they're like, we're gonna get him his business
back. Save his business,
we're not gonna ask his permission about any of this. we're just going to bring up all of our crew and hold a show here. And so then we get a bunch of rehearsals about a song about how they miss the old days of minstrel shows. And I was like, my God.
Yeah, that hit weirdly. I mean, they don't mean it the same. Well, I mean, they do, but like, I don't know.
They're not. No one's in blackface.
They're not singing about blackface.
But for a second, when it first you see the sign and it's like minstrel show, and I was like, oh
no,
fuck. Yeah, it's like, oh no,
it's like, holy shit, what is this movie?
Yeah, and that whole sequence, I'm feeling edge of my seat. Like, don't do it, White Christmas. They don't. It's just, I don't.
Was there a different kind of minstrel show, or
I googled it. I googled
Are
it.
they singing about like racist vaudeville shows?
See, all right, I googled it. Let me Google it again. Man, it sure seems like it's.
It
just
seems
racist.
like it's just racist. Yeah,
because like the term minstrel is is older than that. It's like medieval. But the term minstrel show is Wikipedia. It's just the first sentence was an American form of racist entertainment developed in the early 19th century. It was variety show. Like, it's a variety show, but racist. That's So yes, like this was made in the 50s. They know what they're saying is the point.
Yeah.
Right? They know what a minstrel show means.
You would think. Yeah, it's
For the record, this was going on until the 1970s, minstrel shows. So, you know,
they must
America,
know it. Yeah, sure. America fucking rules.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. It was happening in high schools, according to Wikipedia.
Right, because it seems like he's singing about just a general variety show.
Yeah, they
but it's like, why did you choose that phrase?
Yeah, nothing in the movie mentions the racist
I don't know.
stuff.
It was a real roller coaster moment where you see the sign, it's this minstrel show. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, like, oh my fucking God, what have I walked into?
It's on the edge of my fucking seat.
Yeah. Did we mention that everybody's 45?
I'm
not. That's not a critique. Like, honestly, I like it when there's like older people doing movies.
It feels like Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye are at least 10 years older than Rosemary Clooney and oh shit, I forgot her name, Vera Ellen.
Yeah. So they brought their crew up. They're gonna put on a show.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a weird subplot here where so they pretend to get engaged and to free up Rosemary Clooney so she could fuck Bing Crosby. And then Rosemary Clooney learns that Bing Crosby is like, she like overhears something where he's talking about the money, and she's like, you're just doing this for the money, aren't you? I want to note also at the beginning of this that we find out that the reason they went to their show in the first place isn't because their brother wrote to them, but because one of them wrote to them.
Yeah.
Vera Ellen. And like, Bing Crosby is like, I respect the hustle. But Rosemary Clooney is very like, no, this isn't right. He has the great line, everyone's got a little larceny in them, which I really liked.
That's pretty solid, yeah.
So he's like got a little sleazeball in him, and she's like very pure. And I just want to note that this started with them trying to boost their careers, and that they never circle back to that.
No.
They're just like, you could be background for our stuff. And they're like, sure. And then that's resolved. So the hustle didn't work. But so the sister, once they get engaged, is like, she's like kind of disillusioned about Bing Crosby and why they're doing it. It all feels sleazy. So she leaves to New York to have her own show.
She misunderstands. Like she hears something from the busybody housekeeper, which was just the same character in every movie from this time period. Not necessarily. Oh yeah, it's.
I like the line where she says like it took 1,500 men to replace me or something.
Yeah. When
he's comparing her to his old army. Yeah.
No, she's solid. I'm just saying, this is a very identifiable trope of the time, was the busybody housekeeper, and they're all played pretty much the same.
Yes.
But she overhears one half of Bing Crosby's phone conversation and misunderstands it. Like she thinks Bing Crosby is using the general's predicament to like boost their career, and it's like the opposite. Like
that's correct.
His agent suggested that, and he shoots it down. But she runs this back to Rosemary Clooney, so she's like, "Oh." So they go through she goes through the rest of the movie, like the next hour and change, being super pissed at Bing Crosby, but never actually talking to him about it, which is very sitcom-y.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It also ultimately in my opinion, it's not the emotional like crux of the movie. It's like they just needed that conflict. So she fucks off to New York. Bing Crosby wants to go on a TV show. That shitty TV show that's a bit, I guess the general loves the show.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's like 5 shows.
Yes, there is like 5 shows.
So.
Again, it's one more, you distract him while I do this. There's a lot of you distract blank while I blank in this movie.
Yeah.
It's, again, zany, scheming. A lot, they could just ask the general. You know, like they could just talk to him.
They want to make it a surprise for some reason, and also like he's proud, so I guess they don't want to make him feel like he's a charity case, but they still want to help him out.
Right. No one talks to anybody.
No, nobody talks to... This movie is like 5 different types of sitcoms rolled into one 2-hour film that's ostensibly about Christmas.
Right.
We don't even see any fucking snow until the end of it.
It's not about Christmas. I have one note that just says, I can't believe I'm only halfway through. It's like an epic. It's very long.
It's the first movie released in VistaVision, which is very funny to me because it's all indoors.
You're right. It is all indoors,
and
it has nothing to do with Christmas. It's not Christmassy in any way.
No, and not just like the outdoor scenes are clearly sets, but like most of the action of the film takes place within a building. Like it's either inside the inn or inside some other. So it's all interior, mostly interior locations.
I think the only exterior scene is when they get off the train.
Well, and
I think that's the only. No.
Oh, you mean that's actually
what I mean,
exterior?
Like actually exterior. The only thing that was shot outside
was the train.
Believe, was outside when they leave the train briefly.
Yeah,
I think. So he goes on this TV show, and he sings because everybody sings everything about how generals don't get jobs. And I was like, is that a thing?
I mean, that's what Rambo is about. I mean, he wasn't a general, but like this movie
specifically, he says like all us privates, we all got back to our lives, but the generals, they got screwed. And that's not the lyrics, but that's the idea.
That's like the vibe of it. I love that they identify 2 very real problems with the way the country treats veterans. With like the first identifying like institutionalization and PTSD, and when people come home from wartime and just not knowing how to reintegrate to society, and then also like people coming home from war and not being able to find steady employment or you know,
right.
But they do it in these very sing-songy. They just kind of throw it away in a song and a tap dance, and it's very funny to me.
It's very funny. This was the point where I was like, those ladies. They didn't really get their careers off the ground, but whatever. So she's doing this one-woman show now. She watches this and realizes, oh, he is, because he says, like, all the proceeds are not going to us. So she realizes from the TV show, oh, maybe I should have talked to him.
Yeah, we should have maybe had a conversation about this.
Meanwhile, back at home, they're keeping the general from seeing it with, what's the other guy pretending to have an injury.
Like he pretends to fall down the stairs and hurt his foot.
Yeah, it's a big thing. And then they hide his suit, so he has to wear his uniform. The granddaughter needs friends. Because she's just been hanging out at this inn and being like, I love my grandpa. And it's like, you're at least 16. You need to go out.
Yeah, don't
like,
you
need to have
school?
a life. Yeah. Well, it's Christmas.
That's true. That's true. It is the holiday.
Yeah. So this all leads to a very sweet ending, which is the general walks in and all the army dudes are there and they all sing for him. And what sells it to me, the reason I actually felt emotions, is the guy playing the general nails it, in my opinion.
He's very good. Like his
name is Dean Jagger.
Oh, hell yeah.
Actor.
That's a solid name. He's like the emotional core of the film.
Yes.
Even though he's kind of barely in it and he's sort of treated as just like a plot device.
That's what the thing is. At first I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing in it? Like this whole general plot. And then that turned, like, at first I was like, this doesn't need to be in the movie. They have this whole romance thing going. And then by the end, I was like, oh, get rid of the romance stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this should have just been about the general. He's way more compelling of a character. And then he tells them they all suck. He, like, makes fun of how they're dressed.
Yeah. Y'all should be wearing your ties, you boners.
Yeah. Then they do a song about how being in the army was great.
Yeah. Even though it's clearly ruined his life.
Yeah.
Like, he's that's the only life he knows.
Yeah. And then the song involves fat suits, right? They turn into the clumps.
Yeah, sort of. They're like the boardwalk fat suits, where it's like cardboard standees that you just stand behind.
It's just very fever dream.
Yeah.
And the movie ends.
And the movie very abruptly ends when they finally have a Christmas tree and Santa Claus outfits and sing White Christmas again.
Yeah. Yeah, the movie ended in a way where I briefly looked away and looked back, and the movie had ended. And I was like, wait, what?
As one of the things I love about these old movies is how
they just end.
Yeah, they've put all their credits up front, which was they only credited like the principal cast and like a couple of like the main crew people, like the director and maybe the writer and composer, and not like everybody else that worked on the movie. So you get like 30 seconds of title cards at the beginning, and then at the end of the movie they're just like, bye.
Yep. See ya.
Movie's over, fuckers. White Christmas. Catch it.
So I guess personally my overall thought of this movie is too long. You have two plots. Pick one. And pick the better one.
It's kind of it's
pick the general.
Yeah, that's the one that is like the most like emotional and feels like a real story. I mean, I don't know. There's two very different movies here. There's like a comedy about these two couples and like, will they or won't they? And then there's this very harrowing story about this general.
Yeah. And like, all right, like you can have a little of the will they, won't they, or that side. But I mean, I didn't hate this movie. It's extremely dated, as I feel like we've pointed out.
Yeah. Mostly as an artifact though, like not in any offensive way, really, apart from them singing about a minstrel show.
Yeah. The minstrel show is like,
yeah.
Man.
But they don't say anything in it that's like bad, you know what I mean?
Look, everybody who made this movie is dead. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of like we won. Ultimately.
Yeah.
So it's the movie itself is an artifact, and so I watched it as one, I was watching the musical numbers and I was like, it's
just a style of movie making that was extremely popular for a very specific period of time. So this movie fits pretty neatly into that, I think. It's one of the at least of the ones that I can like immediately recall, because I've seen a few of these. I grew up watching some of these. This is on the better end. It's relatively tight at 2 hours, I feel like, because some of these go on.
Yeah.
I wish it had a little bit more to do with. I didn't remember it having so little to do with Christmas. Like,
it has nothing. Didn't have to be Christmas.
This is
at all.
Not a Christmas movie.
Yeah. But I will say the thing that always surprised me about movies like this is that one moment where Dean Jagger's eyes glaze with tears and he kills it.
Yeah.
He kills it. Who I looked up the actor. He doesn't seem like a good guy. He was a big fan of Joseph McCarthy.
Oh, sure. I think. Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean, I think Bing Crosby beat his kids, didn't he?
Yeah, they're all again, these are all monsters.
I'm sure they're mostly monsters.
Yeah, of course they are. Again, that's part of the artifact of it all. But, there's that thing where some movies are ahead of their times. This isn't.
No, this is
a product of its
time. Extremely of its time, yeah.
Yeah. This isn't like, I don't know, Night of the Hunter or something like that. Or Casablanca, frankly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Casablanca is still pretty good.
Yeah. This is... if you like musicals and dancing, obviously, like, this is gonna...
Yeah, it's got a bunch of
for you.
Like iconic stars of that genre. So if you're into musicals and singing and dancing and shit, then you could do a lot worse than Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, Rosemary Clooney, and Vera Ellen.
Yeah.
Like they're all in this shit.
Yeah. The stuff that like the repeating of the songs really bums me out because it's just like I don't want to hear it multiple times. Like it all, I don't know. The dancing is fine. It's not that one number they do, which I think is it the last number? It's like the Christmas number.
Yeah,
there's one
the
they do that they nail, and I noticed that the people dancing are not our main guys.
No,
Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. Like they just get these no-name dancers to like hop in and dance with the actresses, and it's like they're really good. So like there was a couple dance numbers that definitely stuck with me. The rest not so much.
I mean, they're fine. Danny Kaye is good. I don't think Bing Crosby was much of a dancer.
Yeah, but again, they don't involve them. Like for the major numbers, they just get these no-name dudes to like smile and dance with these ladies, and it's like, all right, I wouldn't mind knowing who that person is. Like they're doing all the work, but whatever. It's this is a pure, like, I can see people enjoying it for the reason you're saying, like you grew up with it.
Yeah,
you watched it as a kid.
Mm-hmm. It's very old Hollywood.
Yeah, watching it as an adult, it's like almost adorably naive, because again, everybody's dead. So it's like them glamorizing these things that are not glamorous. For everything from war to minstrel shows, this nostalgia for this, it's the fake nostalgia for like horrifying things.
Well, I'm sure that, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure the nostalgia was real in a at a certain level. Because that's like the general's whole storyline is he just really wants to get back to the army.
Right.
But yeah, it's interesting because like White Christmas itself is a song that's like nostalgic because it's talking about like the Christmases I had as a kid or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm reading about the song now. Written by the songwriter of this film, Irving Berlin, for a different Bing Crosby film, Holiday Inn, 10 years earlier.
I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, so he wrote that song for a Bing Crosby movie, another Christmas Bing Crosby movie from the previous decade.
So
they're
weird.
just like, one more time.
That's so weird.
What if we made a movie around it?
God, entertainment sucked so much.
I mean, yeah.
This is the kind of movie that like Don Draper's Boss would like. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like. It's nostalgia for like, older white people who were in the army. Older white dudes in the army.
It's boomer nostalgia.
It's well, not even. I think it's the
right, it's the generation
boomers.
Before, right? Yeah.
But it's the equivalent of that. The army general scene, again, it was the most emotional because it was the only genuine feeling moment of the movie to me. By design. I don't think they're trying to,
No.
But it's clear that like, so they have these the younger people doing this romance, and that's like the fun that you're supposed to watch. But the heart of the movie is this general from a war. It's all about the old days being better in war, and it just feels like that's who it's actually for as a movie. But it's not. They're trying to make a movie, so it's not the main character.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they added all this extra stuff on the side. I don't know. It's a very weird movie structurally.
Yeah. They throw in new plot elements seemingly at random.
It's kind of a rampage. Like they're.
It's a rampage of a film.
I wanted the Florida cops to come in and arrest them at the end.
Yes,
because the whole thing
finally
is
take them down for burning that rug.
Yeah, because they're just constantly moving, and they just go to Vermont on a whim, and like it's like it's a lot of like zany things that they're just throwing together one after the other.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels very like In Then, where it's like, and then this happens, and then that happens, and then this, which I don't know, is weird to me. Like the beginning of this movie has nothing to do with the end, really.
No. Any part of this movie,
except for the war,
feels like it doesn't have much to do with any other part of this movie.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, zany characters, a lot of random people, the housekeeper woman, like, I don't know what she was doing. But everybody, I don't know. There's some good lines.
Yeah. I mean, it's old Hollywood. I don't know. These movies are dull to me, but yes. I can get into the singing and dancing bits, and yeah, there's some dialogue exchanges that are fun.
Generally speaking, these movies are dull to me too. Because they're they're like the Marvel films of their time. They're just the most popular thing.
Yeah, they're popcorn movies.
Yeah, and it's the singing and dancing generally doesn't interest me until like every now and then someone will do something. Like watching Singing in the Rain, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Every single number. But like that, I guess that's how it is like there's a million action movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's only one Mad Max Fury Road.
Exactly.
And so like if you're an action junkie, you'll watch them all and you'll be fine. But then like that one transcends the rest. And this feels like not that. It's this is for like a musical junkie. This is one more musical. It doesn't feel like a classic to me. The plot is very loose, and I feel like it'd be more of a classic had they focused on the general's character, but they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels more like a zany comedy.
Yeah.
Like something that's a little unfocused and like I didn't really know about this movie until I watched it this time. I thought
really?
when we were asked to watch White Christmas, I was like, is that a horror movie? What is that? I didn't even know what era it took place. And apparently there's more than one White Christmas.
I think it's been remade.
All
or
right,
I might be thinking of Christmas in Connecticut. I know Schwarzenegger made a TV version of that.
I thought there's a 1995 one. There's a lot. There's a 2019 one. There's a 2011. I don't think they're all the remake of this. I think they're just different things called White Christmas.
Sure. It's a good title.
Yeah.
Except if your movie's not about either of those things.
Right. Yeah, it's a bad title for this movie.
Yeah, it's about a snowless Christmas that it only becomes about Christmas at the very end.
That would be my first note if I got this script on my desk. I'd be like, okay, why is it called White Christmas?
Yeah, feels like maybe we should have a little bit more Christmas or snow in here.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have the white part on lock, but...
Yeah, you nailed the white.
I was expecting more snow, to be honest.
I think the idea is that that's the point. There isn't snow and they're like, but it's not, it's more like it's not Christmassy at all. It's more like an army film. It's weird.
It's hard to pin down exactly what it is.
No, because it just takes place around Christmas.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just because they don't talk about Christmas. They're not like, ooh, I can't wait for Christmas.
Right.
They're actually fairly like, the idea is they're like professionals.
Yeah, they're just trying to find the next gig.
Yeah, Christmas doesn't mean anything for them. Mm-hmm. And so you think like, oh, is it going to be about them finding the meaning and spirit of Christmas?
Kind of.
Nope.
A little bit, but you have to make...
A little bit, but it's...
The movie doesn't make that connection. You have to. Because they end up helping out their old general buddy, and that's the spirit of Christmas, but the movie never makes that connection.
Right, but they're not like Scrooges, They're not like...
No, they're not bastards. They're just
They meet them, and they're like, oh, let's do something nice for them.
Right, they're all on board immediately, which I also thought was kind of funny. Like, I thought there was going to be a little bit of conflict there, but no, all four of them are like, yeah, shit, yeah, we're all singers. Let's put on a show and help save this guy's business. Like, everybody's on board.
Yeah, and it feels like this plot could have been at any time of year. Mm-hmm. Any time of year.
Yeah, Christmas is incidental in the film.
It is. Because they could have gone during the summer, and he's like, yeah, we lose so much money during the summer, no one comes up here. Something like that.
Yeah. And then you just call it Sandy July.
Sandy July, yeah. Which is my stripper name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah. Who wrote this?
Some fucker.
Some dead person.
Yeah,
God, they're all so
some dead son of a bitch.
Yeah, holy shit. I just saw this person, they died in 2003, and I was like, oh, that's recent. And then I realized
that's not.
It isn't. Yeah, it's a real bummer.
No, it sure isn't.
It's a
long time ago, Dave.
God. Yeah, we're going to die too.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I guess that's the moral for all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Happy holidays, everyone.
It's the grim specter of death in the form of Bing Crosby. I don't have anything else to say about this movie.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, I don't think I do. I was just going through my notes. Well, I hope people enjoyed this. Happy holidays to all. Harris and Millie, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
This was a fun one. Mm-hmm. It was a fun one.
Yeah.
I didn't hate watching this.
No. No. It's a fine movie. It's just, it's well made and everything. It's just,
It's White Christmas, yeah.
It's White Christmas. What are you going to do?
Listen, folks, this is This was through our Patreon. If you're interested, you can go to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We have exclusive podcasts on there for just $5 a month. You have access to Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Muller is a Maniac, and then some podcasts we do with the Small Beans, which is
Star Trek The Next Futurama.
Star Trek The Next Futurama. I was getting there. Star Trek The Next Futurama and Spiel Boys.
Yeah!
We also watch movies. Yeah, we also watch movies every Friday night with our patrons. We're probably going to not be doing that until after the holiday, after the new year, when you're listening to this. So just enjoy your holiday.
Yeah. We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com. You can find a link to our Teespring store where we all have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs you can get on t-shirts and mugs, stickers, posters, all kinds of things. Just in time for their holidays. So check it out.
Check it out. Enjoy your holiday. May you all go to war.
You crusty old generals. May you all sink your retirement into a hotel that does not take off.
Does not.
I don't know why I wished that on all of you. I'm sorry.
I don't know. We're wishing terrible things for them.
Yeah. May Bing Crosby visit you in the night.